know what time it is. Hey, y'all know what time it is. Hi, my name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with a caramel swirl, aka Black Lightning with a peanut butter filling, and y'all know the rest. So, yeah. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know why I'm here. Y'all know what it is. Invincible. So, I bet y'all are wondering, why did it take me this long to talk about Invincible? You know, usually you would be on that shit, so like, why? So, you see, I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and I couldn't really talk that well, so I waited, right? Because when it comes to Invincible, I want it to be at 100%. So now I'm feeling better, so let's talk about it. We got 7 episodes to talk about, so yeah, a lot happened in those 7 episodes. So we start off with the aftermath of like everything that happened from last season. We start off, Mark is still recovering, he's still in arm braces, and he's basically trying to deal with the aftermath of not only the Invincible War, but also Conquest. So, yeah, he's just, you know, he's like, oh, I can't take a break, you know, but then, obviously, shit spirals from there. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the animation. So, there's a lot of discourse about the animation, like, people, quite honestly, people complain about it almost every episode that comes out. Well, not almost, pretty much every episode that comes out, they always complain about it. Now, me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't really care that much about the animation, because, okay, so, here's my thing. We're getting this show on a yearly basis, right? So, since we're getting it yearly, obviously the animation's gonna take a bit of a hit. Now, is it as bad as people say it is? No. I can think of way worse, but I will say it's not the best. But, again, we're getting this show yearly. I remember when everybody was complaining how long Season 2 took after Season 1, and I was one of those people that complained. But since we're getting it every year now, I like that, but obviously some things are going to have to take a hit. But they do lock in when it comes to the important scenes. Like the major important scenes that happens in the comic, they lock in for those moments. Like the Conquest Mark fight, yeah, you can tell that they put a little extra TLC with that fight. And also, I guess I should say spoilers for anybody that hasn't read the comic or watched the show. But when Conquest returns, again, spoiler, when Conquest returns and they have their rematch, the animation gets kicked up again. So, yeah, they save the budget for the important fights, and honestly, I'm content with that. So, here's my thing. My thing is that y'all need to pick your poison. You know, would y'all rather have slightly better animation, but have to wait for 2-3 years? Or would you rather have the show every year, but have slightly less good animation? You know, pick your poison. But me, I would rather prefer a season every year. That would be cool, but hey, yeah, that's just me. But anyway, yeah, so now that that's out the way, let's talk about the meat, the juiciness. So, one of the things I want to talk about is Debbie's and Nolan's, they're reuniting. What am I trying to say? Their reunion. I don't know what I was trying to say, but yeah, their reunion between Debbie and Nolan. Now, I was curious how they were gonna handle this scene, and I'm not gonna lie, they couldn't have handled that scene any better. Like, they honestly, I think they handled the scene better in the show than in the comic. Because in the comic, it was only like one page, and it kind of felt like Debbie kind of folded a little too quickly. You know, it felt like she kind of forgave him a little too quickly. But in the show, after Nolan says his piece, apologizes, says he's gonna fix everything, and Debbie's just silent, right? She's just silent, listening to everything Nolan's saying, and then when Nolan stops talking, she just goes off on Nolan. It completely tears him a new one, you know? Like, she hits all the bullet points. You killed people. You destroyed families. People can't sleep at night because they, every time they close their eyes, they see you. You beat my son half to death, and now you want to drag my son to a war where he could die. 2 months after you left, you banged you banged a bug, an alien cockroach, and had Oliver. Like, she hit him with all the bullet points, and like, Nolan, oh god, like, watching this scene was harder than watching the scene with where Conquest plays with Mark's intestines, because oh my god. So that, to me, that's, watching that scene was harder than that, because Nolan, like, there is no combination of words that he could have used that would have made that situation any easier. And like, and he just kept saying, he kept digging that hole for himself. When Debbie brought up Andressa, Nolan was like, hey, baby, she didn't mean anything. She didn't mean anything. I missed you. And like, and then Debbie was just like, missed me? I missed you. And then just, she starts hitting him, right? Even though she knows that her hits won't do anything to him, she still hits him. And it's like, the performance from Sandra Oh, who's the voice actress for Debbie, that was great. Her performance was great. Like, she really just, you can just feel like the anger and the sadness. At one point, she just screams, you know, and it's like, she did a great job with that. And the show did a great job with their reunion, because at the end of it, Debbie doesn't fold. Like, she stands 10 toes down, and she's like, look, you said what you wanted to say, now get the fuck out of my house and don't come back. So yeah, like, they did their interactions so much better in the show than in the comic. And that leads me to wonder, are they gonna, okay, again, spoilers for the comic, but are they not gonna get back together in the show? Because they already changed a few things from the show, from the comic. You know, they already changed a few things. In the comic, Debbie and Nolan do end up getting back together, but watching this conversation, that leads me to believe, like, or that makes me think, are they probably not going to get back together? I think that would probably be the more realistic depiction, the more realistic way of doing things. Because listen, if your significant other betrays everybody on humanity, beats your child to death, and calls you a pet, yeah, you probably wouldn't want to get back with them, wouldn't you? So yeah, that makes me think, are they not gonna make them get back together? But maybe they will, though, because maybe they will, and it just won't be that easy for Nolan, you know? Like, it won't be that simple. It won't be as simple as 2 + 2, you know? If he wants that cookie back, he's gonna have to earn that cookie. So Yeah, I loved their interaction. Debbie is such a great character in this. She's low key one of the goated characters in this show because like that woman is strong as hell. She's not physically strong, but like you know what I'm trying to say. Like mentally, emotionally, like she is a rock. Like Loki, one of the best characters in the show. Now Mark is going through some stuff. At the end of season one, he has his mentality switches, and like he's like, at first he wasn't trying to kill people, but now he's like, listen, if a big threat comes and they won't stop, I will kill them. And we see that a little bit in the first episode when Mark is fighting this big red dinosaur. I think his name is like Dinosaurus or whatever. So this big red dinosaurus, he attacks Mark, right? And basically like kind of like, look, I gotta take you out, and it's revealed that Dinosaurus is a guy, right? A normal guy, and he can turn back into a normal guy. And Mark has his hand around this dude's neck, and he's about to kill them. He's about to kill him. I mean, excuse me. But the Guardians of the Globe come in, and he kind of goes off somewhere. We then see him actually follow through with it when the Sequids come back. So the Sequid invasion comes and to Earth, and the Sequids are trying to take over the world, take over the human bodies, symbiosis and all that. And Mark has the main guy, right? And before the Guardians of the Globe could get to them, like Mark just kills him. He kills the guy. He kills an innocent man, pretty much. And we see him sort of dealing with that, He kind of starts to lose his resolve a little bit, you might say. And that was pretty cool. Not cool, but interesting to see Mark's progression, his mentality shift. And I think that mentality shift helped him in his fight with Conquest, because, like, Mark wasn't playing no games with Conquest the second time around. He was going for the kill immediately. So yeah, more on that fight later. But yeah, Mark has been going through some shit, because hey, it's just another day in Mark's life. When does Mark not go through something? Go through some stuff. But and another part that just adds to the bullshit is Eve. So we see that Eve's powers are starting to act up, right? Throughout the whole, like, as the episodes go on, Eve's powers are starting to act up. They're not acting right, And we're wondering, like, oh, why isn't her powers working, Obviously, as a comic reader, I know why her powers aren't working, and it's revealed why her powers aren't working. Which, fuck it. I'm already talking about a whole bunch of spoilers. Might as well. Eve is pregnant. Okay, so yeah, like when I upload this video, I'm definitely gonna have to put it spoilers, spoiler warnings in the title. So yeah, Eve's pregnant. So that's why her powers were acting up, and we see her struggling with that. We see her like she tries to bring it up to Mark, but then that's when Nolan comes back. But again, more on all the Nolan stuff later. But yeah, so sorry about that. My little brother is a loud ass stomper for some reason, so sorry if y'all heard that. But anyway, yeah, I'm personally excited because we're getting thick Eve, and thick Eve is best Eve. But yeah, so that's just another thing added to on Mark's plate. He doesn't even know about it yet. He's gonna find out, but like, yeah, that's just another thing that's on Mark's plate. But yeah, so then if all that wasn't enough, Nolan and Alan come and want to recruit him in this Viltrumite war, because obviously the Viltrumites are still a huge threat. So they're coming to recruit Mark for this war and recruit some other people. They recruited Mark. They recruited Tech Jacket, which in the show they did gender swap Tech Jacket. In the comics, Tech Jacket was a boy, but they made Tech Jacket a girl in the comics, which, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really care. I didn't really care that much. I mean, sure, we missed the, we weren't going to get the "you have a beard" moment with Tech Jacket and his friend in the comics, which that was low-key one of my favorite moments, low-key. But we did get that moment with Mark and Oliver, so equivalent exchange, you know? Shoutouts Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But yeah, so they recruited Mark, they recruited Tech Jacket, and while they're recruiting, while Nolan is on Earth, he just doesn't talk to Oliver at all. And obviously that makes Oliver feel some type of way. That makes Oliver feel like Nolan doesn't care about him. And that's another thing that I really like what they're doing with Nolan. Like, cause even though we know that Nolan does feel remorse and he is trying to change, Nolan's finding out firsthand that it's not going to be easy, you know? He's made a lot of mistakes. He's messed up a lot. He's hurt a lot of people. He's hurt the people that were close to him. And we see that even though Nolan is trying to change, he's still hurting the people closest to him, like Oliver, because not only is Oliver sort of feel some type of way that Nolan didn't come visit him when he was on Earth, we also find out that Oliver heard Nolan's remarks about his mom, his birth mother, his real mom, his birth mother, and Andressa, you know, the alien cockroach, you know. So yeah, he's like, oh, she was a mistake. Was I a mistake too? And it's like, yeah, even though he's trying to do better, he still messes up. He's still, you know, hurting people that closest to him. He even acknowledges that, like, I'm trying to do better, but it's hard, you know. So I like how they're handling Nolan's redemption arc in the show better in the show, you know. I feel like I know that they're handling it better in the show than in the comics. And yeah, I just like how they're doing Nolan, you know. I just think it's better. Yeah, it's better in the comics. I'll just not better in the show. Again, I'm still trying to get used to talking, okay? I wasn't able to talk for a week. You know, get off my back. But yeah. So that also leads to Nolan having to repair his relationship with Oliver when they get stranded on a planet, and Mark's out of commission for a little bit. They're pretty much forced to, like, be together and really hash out their differences, and that was cute to see. Nolan, you know, having this bonding father-son time with Oliver, because earlier on in, like, one of the episodes, as Oliver comes, which, by the way, comes to the war, which I'll talk about the war later, but yeah, as Oliver comes to the war, Mark just goes to Nolan. He says, look, I don't know if you deserve it, but this is your second chance, you know. And Nolan took that second chance when they were stranded on the planet. Now, the Viltrumite War. So, I also really like what they're doing with the Viltrumites in this season. We're getting to see more of Viltrumite in its prime, or Viltrum in its prime, I should say. We're getting flashbacks of, like, we're seeing Viltrumite culture, you know. We see a young Nolan telling the story of the Grand Regent Argyle, you know, who was the previous Grand Region before Thrag. So more on Thrag later. Holy shit. But anyway, yeah, we see a young Nolan teaching these kids, and we see that like the kids, just because they're kiddos, they got it rough, you know. They're still treating these kids like look, like you better get your shit together or you dead, you know. We see that as young Nolan is quizzing these kids, right? One of them starts to fumble a little bit, and he's like, and then we see Nolan, he just looks at her, and he just grabs her by the head and says, "You better think of those words real quick." And and I was like, damn, he was about to murk a kid. Even the kids don't got it easy on Viltrum. But yeah, and after she gets the answer, the question right, he just goes, okay, class is over, go find food and shelter. You heard me, go find food and shelter. So like, they don't even have their own homes, they gotta find their own shit. And I was just like, wow. And then it gets worse, because after that, Nolan's parents come to jump him, because that was his day of adulthood. So in Viltrumite culture, when someone comes of age, they get jumped by their parents. You know, their parents, they have to fight their parents to the death, and if they survive, they're considered an adult, a full adult. But if they die, obviously they're dead. So Nolan had to go through that. That was his day of adulthood. And yeah, we see his parents jump him. His mom beat the shit out of him. Like, and then afterwards, like, when Nolan's dad, he stops her. He's like, yo, you're going a little overboard. He fought well. You're gonna go a little overboard for a second. And she's like, look, I don't want to see either of you again, and flies off. And I'm just sitting here like, Nolan took your eye out. Like, why are you're saying you're saying the dad's just as pathetic as Nolan, and it's like he took your eye out. Like, and you, okay, yeah, that just like, yeah, like what, like, why are you talking? But yeah, also side note, young Nolan looks just like Mark, or I guess I should say Mark looks just like young Nolan. Like, Debbie's genes didn't stand a chance. Like, Debbie's genes had stood no chance. Like, I'm saying Mark looks exactly like young Nolan. The only difference is that the only bit of Debbie's DNA that came through with Mark is his Asianness. And that's it. That's about the only bit of DNA that got through with Mark. So yeah, Debbie's genes had no chance. Honestly, nobody's genes stand a chance to Viltrumite genes, because when Viltrumites mate with other species that aren't Viltrumites, the Viltrumite DNA is so strong that they overpower the other species DNA, as we see with Oliver, when Nolan had Oliver with Andressa, again, the alien roach. I hope you're paying attention, the alien roach. We see that with Oliver, as when he was a baby, he's very purple, right? He looks like a little Oompa Loompa, right? And as Oliver is getting older, he's starting to lose his purpleness and starting to become more Caucasian. So yeah, that's the Viltrumite DNA kicking in, because the Viltrumite DNA is overpowering the Thraxan DNA. So yeah, Debbie's genes literally stood no chance. So, but anyway, I digress. So, we're seeing more of Viltrumite culture in this show. We get another flashback of Emperor Argyle, as they're going over what to do with a planet that's, not falling in line. that's still revolting against them. And we see that Thaddeus, the betrayer, uh, he's thinking like, listen, how about we, instead of like subjugating them and forcing them to do stuff, how about we negotiate with them, and like, because if they were able to make a bomb, it was just a bunch of scraps, then how wouldn't it be in our favor to negotiate with them and have more profits? And everybody looked at him like, oh, fucking what? Like, he even says, like, listen, don't Viltrumites respect strength? Standing up to oppressors, don't we respect strength? And young Thrag, he just goes, yeah, we do, but that is not real strength. So, yeah, they just go, look, slash their population by like, Argyle, and Grand Region Argyle goes slash their population by 100%. Well, not 100 because they won't have any profit. I think it was like 25-50%. They're gonna kill a lot of them, right? And that's when Thaddeus was like, okay, they're not gonna listen to reason. I gotta do something. And he ends up stabbing and killing Emperor Argyle, right? Or Grand Regent Argyle, excuse me. Like, apologies, Grand Regent Argyle. But yeah, he portrays Argyle, the Great Betrayer. He becomes the Great Betrayer, and Thrag is now officially the Grand Regent. He's the Grand Regent until a descendant of Argyle is found, which I am not going to spoil that. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil that, though. But yeah, so he's the Grand Regent until a descendant from Argyle is found. And immediately, as soon as he becomes the Grand Regent, he's like, listen, this weakness, purge it, And that gave everybody the green light to kill each other, It was immediate smoke, like carnage everywhere, just brutalizing each other. Again, even the kiddos aren't safe. Even the kids were jumping. Even the kids were getting in on it. We saw one scene of like a kid getting jumped to death, getting stomped out by the other kids, and I'm like, damn, even the kids are getting active. So yeah, I like that we're getting to see more of Viltrumite culture. We're seeing more of Viltrum in its heyday, in its prime. We even get to see the fall of the Viltrumite Empire and the Viltrumites in general, as we see the beginnings of the Scourge virus. So the Scourge virus is a virus that was created by Thaddeus to try and just wipe out all the Viltrumites in one go. And he almost does succeed in that, because at the end of that, there was only about like 50 Viltrumites left. And after the war, there's definitely less Viltrumites now. But yeah, so I like that we're getting to see more of Viltrum. We're getting to see more of Viltrumite culture. And yeah, it was cool to see. They're fleshing out Viltrum more. Also, another side note, Thaddeus, the leader of the Coalition of Planets, he's voiced by Peter Cullen, who, for those of you that don't know, is the voice of Optimus Prime, right? And this latest episode, guess who they got to voice Grand Regent Argyle? Frank Welker, who's the voice of Megatron. So, I swear, those two got beef. Multi-dimensional beef. So, almost every universe they're in, they got beef. They beefing with each other. So yeah. But anyway, I like that we're seeing more of fleshing out Viltrum more, fleshing out the Viltrumite culture more. It's cool to see. Now, the war itself, the war is crazy. I saw a video on TikTok that kind of described it perfectly. It felt less like a war and more like two gangs beefing, you know. And Thrag shows that this is his block, because Thrag, Grand Region Thrag, excuse me. Now, last episode, everybody was like doubting Thrag, you know. He was like, after the lightest episode, he was like, they were like, what, this is the guy, this is the big bad, this is the guy that comic book readers are saying we should be afraid of? What? He's a fraud. He's a fraud. You know, he's on fraud watch. But after this latest episode, the switch up was real. Like, guys, I witnessed the switch up in real time. You know, people went from calling Thrag a fraud, calling Thrag a fraud, to, yo, we gotta nerf him. You know, they gotta nerf him. They gotta do something, because, yeah, Thrag is that guy. He proved that he is that guy. There's even a funny moment where Oliver and Alan, the alien's girlfriend, they're talking, and Oliver's like, look, there's no way that Thrag lives up to the hype. And she just goes, you clearly haven't read his files. Oliver's like, well, what do they say? And she goes, that he lives up to the hype. And he does. 'Cause, in fact, I think they made him more powerful in the show than in the comic, because there's a part in the show where Thrag is basically trying to convince Nolan to come back home, come back to our side, you know? And when Nolan refuses, Thrag cocks his fist back, and as he does, I guess the force of him cocking his fist back creates like a little, basically a vortex that pulls Nolan towards him, and you can see it on Nolan's face. He's like, what the hell is happening? And then Thrag just gives Nolan the uppercut from hell that sends him flying all the way back to outer space, because Thrag already punched Nolan down to Viltrum, and then he punched him back to space. And as everything's going on in the chaos, we see that Nolan's body is still flying from that one punch. Like, he just cannot stop himself. His body was still flying, and I was like, wow. I don't remember Thrag doing anything like that in the comics. So, don't get me wrong, he's powerful in the comics, but, like, I don't remember Thrag doing anything like that in the comics. So, yeah. Then Oliver's dumbass, like, oh god, Oliver. You're not that guy, pal. Like, you're not that guy. Look, they specifically told your ass, hey, however strong you think you are, Thrag is stronger. Don't try to 1v1 him. And what does Oliver do? He immediately tries to 1v1 Thrag. And it ends how you would expect. Oliver getting his jaw punched off. And, you know, Mark's obviously like, oh, Oliver, no. And he tries to fly to Oliver, right? And Thrag's like, he was no brother to you. He was a failure. And Mark goes, I killed Conquest. I'll kill you too. And we see all the Viltrumites just stop. And they just stop and they look at him like, really? And, oh boy. We see that Anissa turns over, looks at Mark like, really? And, like, she turns around and she gives him this look. You know, she gives him a look, and it's just like, oh, Oh my god. Yeah, so that look pretty much tells me that they're gonna do the scene. They're gonna go there, and oh boy. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, again, spoilers, but Anissa rapes Mark. Anissa, like, yeah, she rapes Mark in the comics, and when the show got announced, and we saw Anissa for the first time, I was wondering, like, are they gonna show that scene? Are they gonna go there? And that one look from Anissa in this episode, in the latest episode, episode 7, and that one look tells me, yeah, they're gonna do it. And I can see it now. I can see it now. We're gonna have the normal people, right, being like, wow, that scene was so uncomfortable, right? But then we're gonna get the dumbasses. We're gonna get all the dumbasses that are like, woohoo, pass the controller, Mark. Woohoo. We're already seeing it now, and it's just like, ugh, yeah. I can already see all the dumbasses. It's like, it sucks too, because that we're gonna have dumbasses like that, because the Invincible really does, like, handle that topic well. They really handle, like, the topic of male rape victims. They handle it great. They handle it with respect. They don't make light of it. They don't make jokes. They don't, like, say, oh, nobody's like, oh, Mark, oh, you got lucky, Mark. Like, no, they handle it with respect. They take it seriously, and so they handle it very well. And yeah, I hope that when that scene does happen, I hope that the more rational people will be overshadow, like, the dumbasses. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, had to get serious there for a second. But yeah. Anyway, back to the the fun stuff, the fun topics. But yeah, after Mark says that, Thrag just goes, all right, show me, and he cocks back this punch, right, and he punches Thrag, and we got an impact frame, and they literally turn him into a demon. Like, he was a literal demon, and we see that punch does nothing. Thrag doesn't even move, and in fact, that punch hurt Mark more than it hurt Thrag. So yeah, Thrag is just a demon. They made him a demon, a literal demon. They made him more of a demon than Satan. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. This is going to be a long one if you don't. This is going to be a long one if you didn't know. But yeah, so they made him a literal demon. They made him more of a demon than Satan himself in the show. But yeah, Thrag heard the fraud allegations. Thrag heard y'all talking shit. So he had to come and remind y'all who he is. He had to show y'all who he is. Now, Thrag, Grand Regent Thrag, I just want to say, I never doubted you. I never doubted your gangsta. So, yeah, spare me. But, yeah, anyway, the whole war was, like, I thought that war was great. For most of episode 7, it was straight action. Just straight, like, boxing. And we get to see Thrag as the menace he is, as the big bad he is. It was cool to see. So I like what they're doing with the Viltrumite stuff. Now, as I said before about Satan, I mentioned Satan. So there is a whole episode, an original episode, a show original story where Mark goes to hell and helps Damien Darkblood, I think, the demon detective from season 1 as voiced by Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs. He helps him take out this lava chick whose name I forget. And yeah, that is a show original story. Robert Kirkman, the writer for Invincible, he says that he wanted to do that story in the comics, but he didn't get around to it. So now with the show, he decided to add that story into the show. And a lot of people were like, oh, what? Oh, filler episode? What? But honestly, I didn't mind it. It was a cool story. We got fun moments. We got a funny moment with Damien. Damien has this armor, right? He has a helmet that whenever he talks, his helmet just dissolves from his face to talk, and then it comes back, and Mark's just like, why do you keep doing that? And eventually Damien just says, look, it looks cool, okay? And Mark is just like, at first he's like, oh, well, yeah, whatever, and then he's just like, yeah, the shit does look cool. So yeah, and it also like fleshes out the more like demonic side of Invincible, of the Invincible universe. So I didn't mind it, but like I said, they made Thrag more of a demon than Satan himself. So yeah, but yeah, I thought it was cool. I didn't mind it. Now, where we go from here. So, after, like, the village, Thrag pretty much, like, solos everyone, because, during the fight, Nolan is like, look, come on, I have an idea, let's go. So, they go, and they, basically destroy Viltrum. They destroy planet Viltrum, and all the Viltrumites are shook. And I like how the Viltrumites are like, like I said, they're shook because they know how it feels now to have their planet like taken over and destroyed. They know how it feels. And Thaddeus goes, look, surrender is your only option. And Thrag just goes, nah, fuck that, I choose death. And he just one-shots Thaddeus, right? So after like one-shotting Nolan and Mark himself, they fly off, right? And at the end, we see Mark. He wakes up a few weeks later, and by the way, Thaddeus left Mark and Nolan alive because I just want to explain that before. He left them alive because there's already so few Viltrumites left that he can't afford to have any more Viltrumites die. So that's why he kept Nolan and Mark alive. So, yeah, because there's already so few left. And there's even fewer after the war because Space Racer, he has this gun, right, that just completely one-shots anybody, like everybody. We see that like that gun will shoot through you, and there's just almost nothing of you left. So yeah, they fly off. Mark wakes up. They're like, damn, where'd the Viltrumites go? It's like they fell off the face of the universe, right? And we see Mark, he's thinking, right? And Alan's like, so what? Wait, you okay, Mark? And Mark just goes, they went to Earth. And yeah, so I know what's gonna happen, but I don't want to spoil that yet. So but yeah, but yeah, where it goes from here, we're gonna get even more juicy, we're gonna get more meat on the bone because there is a scene where an alien invasion happens, and Monster Girl and Robot, they go through the portal and they end up getting stuck in this alien world, right? And that leads somewhere. Again, don't want to spoil it, but that leads somewhere. And I'm just like, we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the heavy moments, you know? We're getting closer and closer to, like, the truly, like, holy shit moments. The what the fuck moments, you know? And, I can't wait, but also I'm filled with dread, especially, especially with the, Mark Anissa scene, you know? That scene fills me with dread, and I'm not looking forward to watching it. I am not looking forward to watching it. So yeah, all in all, this season is great so far. Would I go as far as to say this is probably the best season of Invincible so far? Honestly, probably, because like we get a lot of the emotional moments between you know, Debbie and Nolan, Mark and Eve. We're getting backstory on Viltrum. We're getting like the whole fight, the war in this latest episode was great. We got character moments between Oliver and Nolan. This season is great so far. Now, this next episode, I have a feeling I know how they're gonna do this, aren't they? So we know they went to Earth, right? And screw it. So Mark and Nolan and them, they're racing to Earth, and and as soon as they get close to Earth's, like, Mark just shoots off, right? Mark's thinking the worst as he's flying. He's thinking Earth is going to be destroyed. He's thinking, like, the Viltrumites completely took over. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past him for thinking that, because Earth's got nobody. Earth has nobody that's on, hell, not even Lucan's or Krieg's level, let alone Thrag. So yeah, I don't blame him for thinking that Earth's cooked. But yeah, he's thinking the absolute worst, and he goes to Earth, and he's like, he notices that everything's fine. You know, nothing's destroyed, nobody's dead. He's like, oh, what's happening? And Thrag comes in, and he's like, listen, temporary truths, okay? We're going to live on Earth, and we're basically going to repopulate the Viltrum Empire. We're gonna breed with a whole bunch of humans. We're gonna mate with a whole bunch of humans. We're going to, you know, replenish our ranks, and by the time we're ready, our forces are full again. We're coming back for that ass. But until then, we won't do anything. We won't destroy cities. We won't kill anybody. We won't do anything. And at first, Mark is like, what? No, this. But until he eventually calms down, and he's just like, we accept. And I'm just like, this new episode, the newest episode, episode 8, I think that's gonna be the last episode. And I'm just like, damn, they're going to end it off like that, aren't they? They're going to end it off with the we accept line, aren't they? And it's just like, oh, damn. But yeah, this season is great. You know, I love Invincible. It's my favorite comic of all time. It's my favorite comic book of all time. I love Invincible. This channel was built on Invincible. My first video was about Invincible. And I'm loving this season so far. So yeah, again, could the animation be better? Yeah, but I don't care enough to bitch about it every episode. So, but honestly, other than the animation, I really can't think of any other cons. Because, yeah, I love how they're fleshing more things out with the show than the comics. I love how they're handling Nolan's redemption in the show than the comics. I love how, like, like he actually has to earn it, because again, the comics, it felt like people kind of forgave him a little too quickly. But I love how, like, they're showing that that with Nolan, that his actions have consequences. That's him. It's when he goes back to Earth. That whole episode can be summed up with Nolan living with the consequences of his actions, like seeing the consequences of his actions. I mean, because after that reunion with Debbie, he goes to Art, and we see that Art's trying to act all cool and calm, but as soon as Nolan leaves, he's just like, like he was scared the whole time. So yeah, I like how they're doing Nolan's redemption arc. I like how Debbie didn't fold. I love how she stood 10 toes down and told and completely ripped into Nolan. I like the rematch between Mark and Conquest, because that scene was brutal in the comics, and yeah, that scene, they made it just as brutal in the show. Like they like also, like, the voice acting from Steven Yeun is great. Like, yeah, every it's just great. Like, the story is great, the acting's great, like the animation's not so great, but I can get over that. I can look past that. Like, this season is so good. It is so good. Like I said, probably the best season so far, and I can't wait to see more. Now, that was a bit of a long one, so that's really all I got. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really like me, then consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it is free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe today. I just realized that I didn't give it a rating, but I think you already know what my rating is. Like, 2 thumbs up, J3D stamp of approval. Like, I think I didn't say it because y'all already know what I was going to say. Y'all already know. But anyway, yeah. Deuces.